The American Ballet Theater is known to be as one of the world's premier ballet companies in the world. The company usually depends on a $45 million annual budget and $22 million in endowments, which primarily serves to sustain the company and enables to invest in all of its core areas such as upholding the classics, training the next generation of devoted young dancers, and maintaining their commitment to commission original choreography. These numbers are considered to be on the low end when compared to peer institutions like the Royal Ballet in London and the Paris Opera Ballet. On top of that, those institutions rely heavily on talent developed in-house. Meanwhile, ABT is known for attracting dancers who had been trained elsewhere for their important plays. Having featured some of the world's most high-profile stars, ABT's biggest current stars are Misty Copeland and David Hallberg. Taking this into account, it's important for top executives to learn about stars like Misty and her rise to fame that could have the other dancers' stories echo. Taking a look at the future of the company, there must be a way to promote a constellation of stars, which is basically driving interest in the larger ecosystem, instead of depending on one or two superstars. Therefore, the real question to consider is what is the right balance for ABT when it comes to developing and acquiring talent?
What exactly does ballet bring to any story? Mike Lung defines ballet as a graceful spectacle with dramatic physical vocabulary and enhanced coordination of music and movement to perfectly reflect the theme of a story. Bottom line, ballet combines narrative, emotion, and character through soulful movement. Value then is created from the excellence and talent of the principals, the synergy of the company dancers, and the virtue of the choreographer as a storyteller and producer. The success of any piece will depend on the ability to tell a story with no words, creating a connection with the audience. The absence of any of these elements dampers the possibility of the storytelling.
Since the value being generated comes directly from dancers who perform the roles, one has to look at how these dancers are being evaluated. As such, a ballet company's value can be perceived as the value of the dancers inside the company. Furthermore, one can use this to determine the dominant parties in the market. These parties can be thought of as the selectors who end up determining the value inside the market. Artistic directors on ballet schools choose the talent that will be developed on a micro level and since early age. They perform expert selection. Principals inside the company have a lesser role in determining talent, but their opinion does matter. This is peer selection. Market selection appears in the form of endowments, which is operating support. Trustee board members of the company as well as institutional donors are the ones who make relevant contributions budget-wise. On the other hand, dancers can have up to 3 sponsors and can receive endorsements. In the American Ballet Theater case, market participants are said to have the biggest impact of all the parties, as they have a direct effect on the company's budget, which influences both the repertoire production as well as the pool of feasible talent to acquire. Also, sponsors and endorsements show a bigger reach of exposure and visibility for a particular talent. Value can be evaluated through an admission process where a dancer's auditions are assessed on technique, flexibility, musicality, physical appearance, and mental aptitude. They can also grow from a corps de ballet to a principal dancer depending on their value. On the other hand, the box office shows the amount of tickets sold within a particular season run. This determines how much the market values the repertoire and talent. For ATB, they differentiate their value by bringing the classical and beloved plays to their repertoire while importing worldwide acclaimed talent to perform it.
Now, if we want to preserve the value of ballet in the market, we must establish some strategy. Let us remember that the value in ballet is the union of different pieces or elements, where each of them is essential to achieve a goal, tell a story without words. As before mentioned, ballet can no longer depend on 1 or 2 superstars. It needs to find the right balance when it comes to developing and acquiring talent. Answering the first question, we prompt a strategy in which the ballet opens its spectrum, both culturally and economically, so ballet reaches more people and be playable for all generations. How? Developing school talent to generate identity. By creating a new identity around ballet, leveraged by new talents, new channels will be formed and consequently will promote the visualization and stabilization of ballet around the world.